To succeed as a freelancer, you must have a strong foundation. And there is nothing more important than this one thing that I'm going to talk to you about today. I'm Jason Scott Montoya. I'm the author of a book called Path of the Freelancer. It's about 8 achievements that every freelancer must accomplish and sustain in order to flourish as a freelancer. I became a freelancer in 2014 after I shut down my marketing company. I transitioned from owning this agency towards consulting as an individual contract, and I became a freelancer. And now, 11 years later, I continue to freelance and I continue to be successful. I earn 6 figures a year. Over the last 11 years, I've earned a collective $1.5 million as a freelancer, and I work part time right now. It's a little over 20 hours per week, which is a little less than 80 hours per month that I'm able to allocate towards my freelancing work to earn more than full-time income as a freelancer. And with my extra time, I'm able to create videos like this, blog, podcast. I get to write books. This is my first book. I've written a second book for small business owners, and I'm working on my third now. As a freelancer, that's flourishing. I'm earning a great income. I have a lot of time and financial flexibility. And that's the type of thing that you can have as a freelancer. I want to talk about the first of the 8 achievements. I did another video where I surveyed all 8 achievements. You can check that out if you want to explore further. I've got other videos and resources as well at pathofthefreelancer.com. You can get the book on Amazon. But in this video, I really want to focus in on the first achievement. And the first achievement is about being fully committed to freelance. Are you committed? That is the foundation that you need in order to succeed as a freelancer. Without that foundation, when the ups and downs come, when the roller coaster effect plays its toll on you, on your emotions, on your finances, it's going to be hard to sustain freelancing through those difficult times. It is through facing those challenges and overcoming them that gets you to the other side, that gets you to that financial freedom that you're seeking. And this foundation of commitment really comes down to a choice. When it gets hard, are you going to still freelance? When things don't go your way, are you still going to freelance? And so the idea about being fully committed is about how you're thinking about freelancing when you go into it. And this is true for anything. Whether you're a blogger, a book writer, a YouTuber, anything you do, if you're fully committed, you will overcome the challenges and you will persist through them. And it is those that persist that are successful. The way that I think about this is there are 4 stages of any type of commitment. And these 4 stages were actually developed from an experience I had in my marketing company, where I was working with this consultant and he had a level of commitment and I had a level of commitment. We were not at the same level of commitment. It created this disconnect and a rift that slowly over time created this breakup. And that could be you in freelancing. If you're not fully committed to freelancing, as things come up, as things happen, these events might trigger a rift between you and freelancing, and eventually you might end up abandoning it altogether, which would be a waste if you're wanting to become a freelancer and be successful and have that financial and time freedom. The 4 stages of commitment, the first stage is what I call a survivor. You probably aren't even considering freelancing. If you're in a survivor state, you're just living your life, you're working your job, you don't have the financial upside, you don't have the income you want, and you're just trying to make it maybe from paycheck to paycheck. And so the next stage is what I call a dreamer. This is someone who sees the potential of freelance and they're thinking about it, they're learning about it. You're watching this video to learn what is freelancing, what are the opportunities, and is this something worth exploring? So you're discovering that possibility, that potential. And at some point, you're going to move from the dreamer to the visionary. And that's where you begin freelancing. That's where you start. You have intentions to become a freelancer. And you're really testing those intentions and you're figuring out what's on the other side of those intentions. What's the reality? And when you discover that reality, it may frighten you. You may discover it's a little harder than you thought. And that's where Path of the Freelancer comes in. And apparently Juniper in this case, say hello, Juniper. That's where Path of the Freelancer comes in. This is your blueprint to make the reality as easy as it possibly can without it being any easier than the reality would allow it. If you go into freelancing and you don't have a blueprint, you don't have a plan, you don't have a system in place, it's going to be really hard. And even someone as successful as me, without this blueprint, I may give up on freelancing. And so the idea with the blueprint, the commitment as the foundation, it allows you to move into that achiever state, which is you're committed to the reality and you are sustaining the actions required to flourish as a freelancer. And if you have a system in place, if you have a blueprint that you can follow, it'll make that really manageable. And building your freelance business is going to be the most difficult part. But if you can get over the hump of building it up, once you get to that point of maintenance, it's easier than maybe even the job that you have. And so there's huge upside, there's huge opportunity, but it may require going through that valley of difficulty. And my goal here with you is to give you a blueprint to make that valley as small as possible and as quick as possible. But for you to really get through that valley, you're going to have to be fully committed. You're going to have to decide that this is the thing you're going to do. And a real quick test that you can think about is when you run out of money, when you don't have any clients, when a client doesn't pay you, are you going to keep freelancing or are you going to look for a job? That tells me that you're probably a visionary. You saw the potential of freelancing, but when it got hard, you look for another path. You look for one that maybe you'd done before or something that was easier. And so to succeed as a freelancer, you have to get to those moments of hardship and go, I'm not going to go look for a job. I'm actually going to look for my next client. I'm going to get more work than I need so that I can save some of that money. So the next time I have a downturn, I have the financial buffer to help me through it. And so those are the types of systems that I map out in this book. But it all comes down to being fully committed, because without being fully committed, you're always going to look on the other side of the fence. You're going to look where its grass is greener. You're going to look back to the past and go, maybe having a job wasn't so bad. In this first chapter of the book, we dive into what it means to be fully committed. We dive through each of the stages of survival, dreamer, visionary, and achiever, and how you can move towards achiever and live in that place. And then hopefully take the things that I'm giving you to make that achiever stage a lot easier than it would have been without my help. You could certainly jump into freelancing, try and figure it out yourself, and you might be successful. But if you have someone that's been there, that's been successful, that's been through the ups and downs, and it is giving you like a checklist on how to succeed, it's going to make your life a lot easier. And so that's what I'm here to do is to give that to you. In the book, I have this concept called the formula for intentionality, and it's really defining what's my purpose. So why are you freelancing? What's your vision? What is it you want? A financial freedom? You want time freedom? Paint the picture. And what does it look like with the clients you're working with? Who are you working with? What does that look like? How much are you making? And then you got to talk about how do you go from where you are now to that place? And so that's your mission. That's your how. And then you have values. What are the guidelines that you're going to follow in order to get there? They're going to keep you from going off the rails, that are going to protect you when others try to take advantage of you. Dive into the formula for intentionality in this chapter, and we talk about purpose, vision, mission. We go deep dive into those things. Those are a real important part of how to be successful as a freelancer, and it's part of that commitment. And then we actually have the anatomy of mission. The anatomy of mission is our actions plus our goals and how those things help us accomplish the mission. And all that's contained inside of our strategy. We have a strategy on how we're going to accomplish our goals. This first achievement is really about your commitment. It's about the strategy, and it'll give you an idea. If you're not a freelancer, this is the chapter you really need to read. Is this the thing I want to do? Is this the path I want to take? If you are a freelancer and it's not going so well, this is the chapter to help you go, what are the pieces I'm missing? What are the foundational pieces that I need to develop so that I can shore up my freelancing and move towards the vision map? And if you're a freelancer and it's going okay, but it's not going amazing, then it may also do the same thing, which is illuminate what's missing from your clarity, from the things that you're doing, how you're doing them, perhaps the values you're holding. There may be some blind spots that are holding you back. And so that's the first achievement, is being fully committed to freelancing. The second achievement is about having our offering, clarity on what problem we solve, who we solve it for, and what's the solution we offer, and having clarity on our offering and packaged and promoted. Nobody can hire us if they don't know what we do, who we do it for. We have to clarify and communicate those things. So that'll be on the next video and the next achievement. If you want to dive in deeper, go pick up your copy of Path of the Freelancer, an actionable guide to flourishing and freelancing. See you on the next one.